Oh, hi everybody. Scott here. Have you ever noticed how every time I send you links on the internet, it always just takes you to more shit that I've made? That either means I'm operating solo on a really tight budget, or I'm like some kind of narcissist. Anyway, welcome to my channel. Really weird introductions are kind of the theme around here, but never mind that. Let's dive in. All right. So we have the wonderful character sheet up here on the right. We have what I've pulled from the rule book here on the left. And I'm going to do my darndest to get through a character creation kind of step by step thing as quickly as I possibly can for you. I know time is valuable and we don't have a ton of it left. So let's get cracking. The first thing that you're going to need is a name for your character. That's written down right here. For the sake of brevity here, I'm just going to use my name. So I'm going to put Scott right there. This is basically you want your character's name or your name or any aliases that your character has. So Scott played by Scott. Next up are the base stat numbers that do not change. This is basically just transposition. We're transposing the numbers that are on here to the spots over here, and we've got armor level 10. That won't change right off the bat. Hit difficulty is 9. That's like the equivalent to AC or armor class in most games. We've got movement of 5. That's how many spaces we can move when we're in like turn based. And then backpack. For the backpack, we always start out with 2 here, and that's because we always have pockets. Yes, even the dresses come with pockets. So if we're not planning on upgrading that, I'm just going to put pockets here, and that we always have the 2 slots. This is mostly just for record keeping to make it easier on yourself. Now, the stuff that we pick is these up here are our skills. These are what all of our skill rolls are going to be on. Probably are pretty familiar with those at this point. So we have a skill point array going from -3 all the way to +1. Basically, we pick what we want our +1 to be in, and our 0 and our -1s, our -2 and our -3. I am, for the sake of keeping it short here, I'm gonna kind of just throw these in based off of how I feel about myself. Obviously, if you're making a character, you probably shouldn't do it that way. But examples for each role are going to be listed here. So, like, what will be called for each skill, roles that'll be called for each skill, and then uh, how the skills correlate with different possible character backstories. So, like things that your character could have done that pertain to why they would have a higher bonus in this starting skill, or that starting skill. Um, the only thing that I think is pretty important to highlight is that you shouldn't worry about there being so many negatives starting out. Leveling up in this game happens fast. For me, I'm going to put my awareness at 0. I'm going to put my intellect at -1. I am going to put my precision at -2. I'm going to put my resistance as a +1, and I'm going to put my social at a, let's see, what do I have left? I've got another -1 here, it looks like. And you can do that a lot better organized than me, but you just want to make sure that you have your +1, your 0, your 2 -1s, your -2, and your -3. And like I said, leveling happens really fast, and one of the things that you can put levels into is increasing these skills as you go. So now that that is done, the next thing that we'll need is base stat numbers that you roll. So for health, you can either take 8 or you can roll 3d4. I actually kind of like rolling. So I got a 3, a 1, and a 1. Jeez, I got a 5. Great. All right, so I start out with 5 in temporary and 5 in max. That's over here. That's the uh, vitals and max HP. Then I roll 2d6 to determine how many supplies I start the game with. And that is 3 and a 6. So I got 9 total. And then the last thing is pick a number between 1 and 5 that represents how wealthy your character feels at this moment. 1 would mean that your character is quite poor, while 5 will mean that your character is very wealthy. Now, roll between 1 and 5d12 to determine your starting coin amount. So how much money you start the game with. So for me, it'll be less math down the line if I just say I'm really poor. And honestly, with the budget production that I have, that feels pretty accurate. So let's see. I got a 6 for my starting coin, so put that down right here in the money bag. 6. Now, the next part is going to be unfortunate for me for the way I just built this character, but it's really funny, and we're going to get to that right now. Base items that you buy, maybe. You might get to purchase items from the catalog before the game begins. For the game that I am running, this playtest that's coming up. So if you're watching this video and you are part of the Therapeutic Game Masters group, you are allowed to buy things from the catalog. That will be different for all sorts of different people, whatever, playtest or actual game that they're playing. Of course, that's going to be different. But for if you're in the therapy game, if you're in the Therapeutic Game Masters game, you're allowed to buy some stuff here, and we'll get into that in a second. So if you have unneeded supplies, you can sell them back to the GM for a 1-to-1 ratio. I have 9 supplies, and I'm actually going to be kind of desperate in this spot, so I'm going to sell all of them back to, I guess, myself, so that way I can have 15 coins and 0 supplies. Just kind of where I'm at right now. Makes sense. And then the last part here is kind of fun. Want to increase your odds of survival? If it's a combat heavy game, you might want to purchase items from the catalog in this recommended order of importance, which would be a weapon, followed by armor, followed by a better backpack, maybe than just your pockets, followed by basic or specialty tools for crafting stuff if you want to get into crafting or if the game has crafting in it, and then maybe a magic item if you're loaded. I'm not loaded. I also kind of stole a thing that I built down here, and we'll get to that. You probably are not going to be encountering crafting or magic yet in this 15-minute exercise that we're doing on Friday. Don't worry about that. Big important stuff before we get into buying stuff from the catalog. Big important stuff is to watch out for the for anything that causes the encumbered affliction. So that is this right here. If this box is checked, then basically it means that armor that I'm wearing is above my armor level. So the pool that it has is like a 15, and if I only have 10, then that's too heavy for my character to wear. Or another thing that can create the encumbered condition is if I have like 3 things in my backpack, you can pick up more than you have slots to carry, but it'll make you really slow, and it'll also give you a disadvantage on skill checks. So that is something to avoid if you don't want to have bad things happen to you. The way leveling up works, you gain 1 point for every game session or episode that you complete. You can improve skills, you can increase your armor level, you can increase your active item slots, you can increase your max health, increase your hit difficulty, or increase your max movement speed. And then pre-game leveling, this is really important, and it's the reason why I'm doing all of this before I show you the catalog, is because you're actually going to get a bonus to your levels at the very beginning right now. So I'm going to give you, it's called a small bump, which is basically you get 5 of these levels that you get to pick for like increasing your skill bonuses or giving your character better health or whatever you want. You can spend 5 on this table here, and you also get an additional 1d12 coins. So for the sake of my guy here, just to show what that looks like really fast, I actually want to have better health. So the health one is 1d6 plus 1. So I am going to roll. I got 2 plus 3, so that pushes me up to 8. That uses one of mine. I actually want a second one of those, so I'm just going to take that. That's 3 plus 1 is 4, so that gets me up to 12. There we go. So I've used 2 of my 5. The next one I'm going to do, I'm going to 0. Actually, I want intelligence as a plus 1. So that uses 2 more. I've got 1 left. And then I'd like precision to be up 1 to -1. So there we go. Now I have 2 plus 1s and -1. That seems like a good improvement to me. I'm pretty happy. I also get that additional 1d12 coins. That's why I haven't shown you the catalog yet. So you get to add these guys in. Let's see what I get here. I got over 12. Sick. That puts me up to 27 total for the coins. Now I'll show you the catalog. The way the catalog works is stuff I stole from the catalog, the big one, the real one, to make a starting character items list. So like you're brand new to the game and you're like lower level. So I have shit tier weapons list for starting adventures and people strapped for money. You've got the skewer, the sling, the pan, the brick, and the fire poker. I am going to spend $8 and get a fire poker. So now I'm down to 19. And I think it's smart to, you always start with one active item slot too. I think it's a good idea to put your weapon in your item slot just so that way you don't have to use like a action or bonus action or whatever to move to it to grab it in combat. So I've got a fire poker, and there's actually some stuff I didn't cover real fast. There's how to write weapons down on the character sheet. There's all these cool little tooltips hidden everywhere. So that's up here on the second page. So I've got a fire poker, so that is a -1 item to hit. Oops, -1 item to hit. Fire poker. Fire poker. And it is 1d4 plus 1 for the damage dice when you hit. So I got $19 left. Armor would probably be smart. I don't have the pool to handle fur armor. Actually, I don't even have the money to handle fur armor. I'm gonna go for a Gambison. That's $12. That puts me down a bit, but it gives me a armor pool of what is that, 10? And then so max is 10 because it hasn't been damaged yet. Armor is gonna be a Gambison. This is how you fill this out too. You just write what kind it is here, what its pool is, and if it, if it's brand new, it's going to start with 10 max on the pool too. Basically, this is a reserve health thing that basically armor is a reserve health pool that you choose where damage goes into, and this can only be healed, and this has to be repaired. So that's how that system works. But so I added my Gambison. That cost quite a bit. That was 12. So if my math is not wrong, I only have 7 coins left. Puts me at backpack. I could upgrade to a bindle and have a third slot. I think for the sake of showing people what to do, I'm going to do that. I don't think I would if I was actually playing. But so let's spend 4 more bucks. We got 3 coins left here. We get to check this guy here, and then we get to upgrade this from pockets to a bindle, and then put that to 3 slots. Just that's our slot tracker, and so that way you can see which ones are checked. Okay, that's it. I got my name, my stats, my armor that I chose. You don't even really need that if you don't, if you yeah. Um I got all these stats here. You don't really start with any of these conditions or afflictions or anything like that. Unless you buy too much stuff, in which case then you start the game encumbered, which that'd be a bummer. Otherwise, we are pretty much good to go. Just save this guy up here for the one that you have, and I will see you in class at nighttime for me because I live on the East Coast on Friday.